And we are live down here with Romance Happy Hour, and I am, of course, joined by Dylann Crush. Dylann, how's it going?
Good. Pretty good.
Good. Yeah.
Hanging in there.
Yeah. First couple weeks of summer.
Mm-hmm.
So how's the temperatures there? Are you hot yet?
No, we sat outside. Well, me and my multiple personalities, I think my multiple pen names, we sat outside and worked today. So yeah, it was just me, but I sat under the deck in the shade and, it was nice.
Oh,
so I think we're like high 70s, low 80s, but we haven't had a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Which the garden has liked. My garden is growing, mainly weeds, but there are some plants in there that I keep going out. And every year I say, this will be the year that I plant the garden and then maintain the garden. And so far, I'm doing okay. I mean, we're, not even a month in, but so far you can still walk into the garden. The weeds have not overtaken the little path and all that. But yeah, last week was big though, Dawn. I had my middle one graduated from high school. My mom was in town. So it was busy. But this week we're back to, it's like kind of nice to just kind of be back to the norm. Although all three kids at home, I mean, two of them are working and the other one is in a lot of activities. But yeah, our house, it's like just a revolving door.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mine was like that. I think the last of my family from my daughter's graduation finally left, I think last Tuesday. And then this week is just like trying to get back to normal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Normal. So as you can see, like I'm not surrounded by my eggshell sound proofing stuff. This is my new office, and
yay!
Try to get some bookshelves up back here. My husband, I gave him all my plans, and he's like, "We got to figure this out better." I'm just like, bookshelves, do it.
So. You're no longer operating from the closet, huh? That's good.
No. My husband has all kinds of ideas for that soundproofing stuff, though. Wants to get a drum set.
Oh my gosh.
Romance writers, our minds can go in a lot of different directions on what you could do in that soundproof room, Dawn.
If you end up having any extra of that soundproofing, if you want to send it my way, because my neighbor is a drummer.
Oh.
Especially now that the weather's nicer. He's not a good drummer.
Is it in the garage?
No, I think it's in his basement.
Oh, okay.
So because I'm pretty sure he has it in his basement.
That's noise travels.
Yeah.
And we live in a really we're not that far apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Dylann, what are you working on? And then let's talk about that, and then we'll introduce Molly and Etta.
Yeah. I'm working on I'm working on a book for Dylann right now that will be, it's kind of a surprise release that will be out later this summer. And then I am working on stuff under my alter ego, Eve London. I've got recovering a bunch of books and putting them up. And so that's been busy. And we have our next book in the shared series that I write with Casey Rose, the Mustang Mountain Writers. That one comes out on Saturday. So yeah, and I am getting geared up to go to 2 signings this summer. I've got Writers on the River coming up in July, and then Rock and Romance Readers in August. So I'm excited to get out and about a little bit because, I've been kind of staying close to home. So yeah, I'm excited to do that.
Awesome.
So, how about you, Dawn? Tell me what you're working on, and then we need to hear from these 2 amazing people that we have joining us tonight. So what's up with you?
I am just now, well, obviously, even tonight, I just started organizing my office. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then I've told everybody I'm working from home now. I'm doing more writing. So I am plotting at night when I'm up in the middle of the night, plotting my book. And that's kind of where I'm at, just my historical. God, I'm getting back in the saddle after all the chaos is where I'm at.
Back in the saddle. Wow.
So that's a Montana term.
Yes.
All right. So we are joined by Molly McLain and Etta Easton. Molly will be reading for us first tonight. So Molly, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what you're giving away. Anything about you that you want the readers to hear.
Okay. So I'm Molly McLain. I write steamy small town romance. My book boyfriends are typically blue collar. And so when I read to you tonight, I'm going to have to tone it back just a little bit because we tend to be a little bit foul-mouthed as well. So I am going to be giving away a copy of Measure of a Man. This is the book that I released at the beginning of May. It's been out for just a little bit over a month, and this is the third book in my Coal Creek series. So this is Jinx and Rachel's book. Jinx is the third sibling in the Enders family, the youngest brother. So he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. And Rachel is a new single mom. She's actually still in the middle of her divorce. And she is not feeling so great about herself. But of course, Jinx, who's a little bit younger than her, is really, really good at making her feel better. So
Can't wait to hear.
yeah. And so then what I'm working on is the next book in the series, The Little Sisters story.
Where does that take place? What?
So I live in Wisconsin, and the series is set in Wisconsin too. So it's kind of loosely modeled after a town that is like just a couple of miles down the road from me. Very loosely. Like the only thing that really it has in common, the series has in common with reality, is that there are a lot of Polish families in the community, and the Enders family is even though Enders isn't a Polish last name, very Polish family. So yeah,
awesome.
Kept that true.
And Etta, what about you? What do you tell us a little bit about you, what you're working on, anything you want them to know?
Yeah, I'm Etta. My debut book, The Kiss Countdown, just came out. So it's the first book I've written. Came out in April. So I'm excited, been excited and having fun, just celebrating its release. For the giveaway, I'm going to be giving away a copy of The Kiss Countdown if people sign up for my newsletter. But yeah, I write stories, contemporary romance, just about people finding love and joy. It's mostly sweet, got a little bit of spice. But yeah, it's my first one. And then I'm working on my second book, which is also the little sister. Molly said you had a little sister book coming out. So I got my little sister book that I'm on deadline to finish. But it's been exciting. I write books in Houston. This book is set in Houston with the astronaut. I'm in Texas. But yeah, all about Texas. And I'm actually jealous of y'all talking about like gardening and nice weather because it was so hot today. So hot.
Yeah. Dylann is from Dallas, right? The Dallas Fort Worth
Arlington.
area.
Yep. Dallas Fort Worth area. Yeah. And then Dawn actually spent several years in Texas too. So we know, and I still have family there. So yeah, we know when you're talking about the heat, we know that heat.
Yeah, we were down. Are you in Houston as well then?
I'm in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, we were stationed in Galveston. So yeah, awesome. Oh, okay, great. We get a lot of Texas people that come to the show.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are a lot of people in Texas.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if they're just trying to stay out of the heat, so they just like
Maybe.
Stay inside, read and write. Yeah.
There are a lot of romance authors though in Texas, especially I think around the Houston area. At least that seems like it. But
yeah, it does.
Seems like it.
All right, so Molly is going to read for us first, and she just mentioned that she might need a couple extra minutes. So I think we're going to pop her up there just to give her a couple extra minutes here. So don't feel the need to rush. You're good.
I don't think it'll be too bad, but just in case. Okay. So I'm going to start with the prologue, and then I'm going to skip chapter 1, and I'm going to jump into chapter 2 because I think that's kind of fun. So, okay. So this is 1 year earlier, and this is from Jinx's point of view. So, the true measure of a man is seen in how he treats a woman, Justin. Remember that. It's been 9 years since my old man caught Gracie Janikowski and me steaming up my truck windows after our junior prom, and I still haven't forgotten his words. But why they come to me this morning out of the blue, I have no idea. That is, until I pull into the Enders excavating parking lot bright and early and find myself parked next to Rachel Perry. Morning, Jinx. The gorgeous auburn-haired woman flashes a cheery grin over the top of her car, then ducks down, disappearing to grab something from the passenger seat. Hey, Rach, shouldn't you be at school already? Last I heard, she was still teaching kindergarten at Coal Creek Elementary. Yep, I should, she says, reappearing and blowing tendrils of long hair from her flushed face. Could you grab this bakery box for me? I have Craig's lunch and thermos, too. Donuts? I waggle my eyebrows. Say less. She laughs softly as I jog around to the other side of her car. It's been a while since I sent in treats. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up. It's been a while since I sent in treats, she says. And since Craig forgot his lunchbox and coffee, I figured today was a good day to remedy that. I sure as hell won't complain. I'll take free breakfast any day, even if the guilt niggles at me. The last thing she should be thinking about is feeding us. This woman has enough on her plate already. She works full-time and she's raising 2 kids. Not to mention she's married to Craig Perry, the one guy on the Enders excavating crew that I don't like. Pink and white box in hand, I close the passenger door and follow the click of her heels on the sidewalk to the front door. The whole way there, I crane my neck, trying my damnedest not to look at her rear end in the snug navy skirt. I may not like her husband, but I'm not about to disrespect him by ogling his wife. Laughter from the guys waiting for our Monday morning meeting wafts into the vestibule as Rachel continues ahead of me. I'm only a few feet behind her, but when she catches the toe of her shoe on the rug and stumbles, there's no stopping the thermos and small cooler that goes sailing through the air. Crap! She grabs the door frame to steady herself, just as the thermos hits the ground with a crack and dark liquid seeps from the lid and onto the tile. Whoa, are you okay? My brother Jesse rushes over and grasps Rachel's forearm. He checks on her quickly, then crouches and turns the thermos upright to stop the spillage. I'm fine. She pushes the hair from her face and rubs her fingers against her temple, her gaze raised on the mess. I'm so sorry. Hey, it's all right. Jesse squeezes her arm. Connor, can you grab some paper towel from the bathroom? On it, he jumps from his seat and hurries off. Craig, however, gives a deep sigh and slowly gets to his feet. What are you even doing here? He asks, his irritated tone instantly pissing me off. Aren't you supposed to be at work? Rachel nods. Yes, but you forgot your lunch, and I thought I'd bring donuts and... Her voice cracks as she balls her trembling hands into fists at her sides. I'm just gonna go. Jesse, I'm so sorry about the mess. Hey, no problem. My older brother's brows crease as he looks from her to Craig, probably wondering what his problem is too. Are you sure you're okay? I ask when she turns to where I'm still standing behind her with the bakery box. I'm fine, she rasps, as if the tears lining her honey gold eyes aren't as obvious as the quiver in her voice. Enjoy the donuts. With that, she hurries out the door into her car without glancing back. My gut clenches. The urge to go after her is just as strong as the urge to punch Craig in his effing face for not doing it himself. Sorry about that, man. Craig finally takes the paper towel from Connor and squats to help Jesse clean up the spilled coffee. She's always been such a klutz. Jesse makes a throaty, non-committal sound, and I shake my head. Craig just won a-hole of the week, and it's only just begun. I glance back to the parking lot just in time to see Rachel back out. I may bite my tongue now, but one thing is for sure. If I had a woman like Rachel Perry, the last damn thing I'd let her do is walk away. Okay, so that's a prologue. Now I'm going to skip ahead to chapter 2. Again, this is in Jinx's point of view. Text from Ty. Dude, where the hell are you? The text lights up my cell screen just as I pull it from my pocket to check the time. 9 o'clock. Crap. So much for the early day I promised myself and my buddies. Me, I text back. Unloading at the storage yard. I'll be there in 10. I hit send, tuck the phone away. Then I get to work on hitching the lawn equipment trailer for my truck. We're already operating at full bore, and with summer just beginning, we're adding additional jobs every day. It's a good problem to have. I'm good at what I do, and I put in extra time because I hate disappointing people. Too bad the person that I worry about disappointing the most hasn't noticed all the late nights I've been putting in. Quit being a frickin' baby, Enders. You're 26, not 12. Giving myself a mental kick, I get the trailer situated in the landscaping garage and hop back into my truck, then head for the storage yard gate. Though all of us Enders kids were raised on big equipment and good old Wisconsin dirt, Aiden, my oldest brother, bucked family tradition entirely by going into law enforcement. And our baby sister Amelia went her own way too with a career in graphic design. No one was the least bit surprised when Jesse and I stuck to our roots in Enders excavating. That blue-collar blood runs deep, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Jesse took over the family excavation company when he was just 22. He oversees the bigger earth-moving projects that I manage the landscaping part of the business. Lawn care, trees, gardens, you name it. If it's a residential project, then it's mine. And it's been that way since I was 20 years old. I may not have a financial stake in the company, but I take my work and my family's reputation seriously. Hence the reason I'm late meeting up with Ty and Connor for the beers I promised them. I've just locked the gate and climbed back into my truck when my phone chimes with another text. Ty, I saved you a seat, but if you don't hurry the frick up, I'm going to give it to Macy. The hell he is. Cranking the music, I hit the gas pedal, and 5 minutes later, the creek comes into view. Between the visitors and the locals here for the Friday night fish fry, the parking lot and the street in front of the pub are packed. But I get lucky and steal a spot near the front when another vehicle backs out. When I finally step inside the bar, Ty hollers about damn time above the crowd and the country music playing on the jukebox. As expected, the place is standing room only, but I'm a big guy and I'm not afraid to shoulder my way through the patrons to reach my destination. Some people got to work around here, I tell him when we clasp hands in a way that's more bro shake than handshake. Ty Crawford is the deputy of the Pine County Sheriff's Office and one of my best friends. We see each other more often in church than we do anywhere else because life is so damn busy. Of course, I'm rarely in church, much to my mother's dismay, so it's been months since I've seen him, anywhere other than his cruiser as he's headed through town. I thought you were clocking out a couple of hours ago. Connor hands me a bottle of beer. Or were you making house calls again? He air quotes the words and hits me with a smirk. Connor DeLuca is my right-hand man at EE. Since I usually make him hang it up at 5 o'clock, he likes to give me crap about the hours I work and what I'm getting up to once he's gone home. I only wish it was as nefarious as he makes it sound. Desperate for a little relaxation, I roll my shoulders and tip back a hefty swig of ice-cold beer. It goes down way too easy, but I haven't eaten since I downed a slice of gas station pizza at lunch. So tonight, this will be my one and only drink. That, and we'd all be pushing the boundaries of the law if we had too much fun. None of us wants to put Ty in that position. We spend the next 45 minutes catching up on everything from work to the Brewers to the upcoming Packers season. When a hoot of feminine laughter in the game area snags my attention, I lift my chin toward the back of the bar, where a group of rowdy guys plays beer pong with a couple of local women. What's that all about, I ask. Ty follows my gaze to Crystal, one of my cousin Bobby Jean's friends, just to see as she slaps some dude's ass for nailing his round. Sadie said the PTA met here earlier. Those two stuck around. You think I should cut him off? Sadie, the bartender, saunters over, chewing her bottom lip. Tony would probably appreciate that. Crystal's husband is a chill guy, but his wife playing grab ass with some frat boy might cross the line. She called him an hour ago and told him she made some new friends. He told her to live it up, but keep her pants on. And he said he'd be here by 10 to pick her up. I snort and glance at my watch. Only 15 more minutes. All right, on second thought, let her have fun. It's the other one I'm worried about anyway. Sadie tips her head to the woman huddled close to a tall, lanky guy in the far corner of the game area. She has her back to the rest of the bar, but her wavy auburn hair and curvy body and those snug as hell jeans are familiar. Who's that, I ask, leaning back and bringing my beer to my lips again. Rachel Perry, Ty answers. I lurch forward and damn near choke on my drink. No shit. Yep, Sadie pops her lips. Craig Perry, her soon-to-be ex-husband now, is Jesse's lead man on the big earth-moving jobs. He does decent work, but I'm not a fan of the guy. Even before the rumors about him and Rachel, and the rumors about him and Katie, his new girlfriend, started going around. She comes in with the kids sometimes, Sadie adds, but I've never seen her drink until tonight. I haven't either. Not that our paths have crossed often. I think the last time I saw her was when she spilled coffee all over the EE lobby. I obviously can't let her drive, and Bren isn't answering his phone. Yeah, I saw his truck at Aiden's on my way through town. They're probably throwing back a few beers. Bren is the county sheriff and self-appointed Cold Creek cabbie. He's also my oldest brother's best friend. Ugh, Sadie sighs, her shoulders sinking. Any chance either of you would do it? Do what? I ask at the same time Ty says, no way in hell. Drive her home, Sadie bats her lashes. I hold up my empty beer bottle. Probably not a good idea. You could drink a 6-pack and not even catch a buzz, Jinx. Come on, do me a favor. I don't want to have to call Craig and ruin her fun. A burst of anger hits me at the sound of his name. F that. He's the last person she needs showing up tonight. I give a heavy sigh and take Rachel in again. The guy she's with is draped over her like a wet freaking noodle. His eyes are clear and his feet are steady, like he isn't drunk at all. In fact, he looks like he knows exactly what he's doing, and that doesn't sit well. I don't know Rachel well either, but we look after our own here in Coal Creek, and I can't in good conscience stand back and let this loser take advantage. Did she eat yet? I ask Sadie. She presses her lips together and shakes her head. Not that I saw. Great. Can you throw on a couple of burgers? Sadie cocks a brow. The kitchen closes in 10 minutes, you jerk. Do you want me to drive her home or not? With that, she pastes on a fake smile. In that case, I'll throw in an order of fries on the house. I roll my eyes as she jots down the order. Once she's headed back to the kitchen, I shift in my seat so I can keep an eye on the rowdy group at the back. Damn, I could use another beer. Just a few minutes into the show, Rachel shakes herself loose and gets ready for her turn at the pong table. The wet noodle moves in behind her, grips her hips, and whispers something in her ear that makes her laugh, and it pisses me off. No way in hell is he getting what he thinks he is tonight. If she goes home with him, she'll hate herself. And something tells me she's already been hard enough on herself because of Craig. With a sigh, I push off the bar stool and make my way over just as she takes her first shot at the pong cups. She misses terribly, and her face twists with disappointment. But she quickly regains her focus, and with her expression pinched in concentration, she takes her second shot. This time, she makes it easily into one of the cups. Yes! She throws her arms in the air. The guy behind her scoops her up and spins her around, and I grind my molars. I should kiss you for that, the guy says. But before he gets the chance to put his mouth on her, I clear my throat. Nice shot, Rach. Looks like you're showing these young bucks how it's done. Every guy in the group turns his attention to me. Rachel narrows her eyes, probably assuming that since I work with Craig, I'm going to blabber to him. Then she blows a raspberry. Pfft, yeah, right. More like they're schooling me. She gives the guy who can't keep his hands off of her a saucy grin. Aren't you handsome? The jerk grins right back, and this time he dips in, going for that kiss. I wouldn't do that if I were you. I'd take 2 steps forward and tug her from his grasp. I only meant to stop the kiss, but somehow she ends up behind me and I end up going nose to nose with the jerk. What the hell, Jinx? Rachel scoffs, trying to shove her way around me. She's drunk and you know it, I grit out, keeping my grip on her firm but not too hard. What the frick do you care? The jerk puffs out his scrawny chest. Are you her babysitter? He's my friend's husband, Rachel interjects, slurring her words. I mean, he's my husband's friend. My ex-husband. I'm her friend too, and I promise that whatever you thought was going to happen tonight ain't. Not on my watch. The punk's upper lip curls, and I brace myself for a fist. One of his friends steps between us before that can happen. She ain't worth it, man. Let it go. Behind me, Rachel slumps. I release her and glance over my shoulder to check on her, just in time to see her frustrated expression melt into defeat. With that small change, the energy around her shifts, and the temporary high she's been riding deflates like I stomped on her balloon. That's all right. I'd rather she hate me now than hate herself in the morning. Come on, Rach. I gently reach for her, and to my surprise, she doesn't balk. In fact, she doesn't say a single word as she gathers her purse and walks with me toward the bar. We're just approaching when Sadie exits the kitchen with a plastic bag in hand. Perfect timing. Her gaze shifts from me to Rachel and back again. Thank you, she mouths. I nod and throw some cash onto the bar for the food. Is her car okay here tonight? Of course. Just lock it up, Sadie says. You don't have to do that. You didn't have to do that, Rachel slurs as soon as we step outside. Thank God she isn't wearing heels, or she'd probably break an ankle with the way she's swaying and sidestepping. I wasn't going to do anything stupid, she adds. I'm not so sure about that. My guess is she's already going to have some regrets, but what do I know? When I hit the fob on my keyring and my headlights illuminate up ahead, she coos. Ooh, did you get a new truck? Sure did, just a few months old. She steps clumsily off the curb, and I snag her elbow before she goes down. I like it, she husks, awkwardly pushing her hair from her face. With a hum, she reaches out and strokes her fingers along the paint. Are you going to be my knight in shiny white armor tonight, Jinx? Not in the way you're thinking, babe. Still holding my arm, I stow the bag of takeout in the back seat, then I open the passenger door. Let me help you up. I gently grip her waist from behind, ready to bypass the running boards and lift her onto the seat. But she turns before I get the chance. Is it true? She lowers her lashes over her hazy copper eyes as she traces a fingertip down the center of my chest. That men with big trucks are overcompensating? I laugh lowly. Not in my case. That's what I thought. She bites the corner of her lip and smashes her chest against mine. Before I can stop her, she throws her arms around my neck and plants a big fat kiss on my mouth. Whoa! Still gripping her waist, I hold her at arm's length. What are you doing, gorgeous? A satisfied smile flickers across her lips as she licks them. You taste good. Oh my God. I think it's time to get you home. But before she can pull another stunt, I lift her onto the seat and buckle her up. You good? She nods with that wistful look in her eyes. Oh, so good. Sadie owes me a frick lot more than fries for this. And that's chapter 2. So I'm sorry, that was kind of long. Hope it wasn't too bad.
No, it was perfect.
Did I read super fast too? I kind of did.
No, you did great.
You did
Okay.
awesome. Yeah. Etta, I can't unmute you because I think you muted yourself.
Me?
There you
okay.
go. Oh my God.
Yeah, Deanna is saying that she needs more, and Jennifer said, OMG, I love it. So yeah.
Well, it's up for grabs, so somebody will get it.
And you know what? Can I just see that cover again? Because
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually, while you were reading it, I pulled it up on Amazon just to kind of stare at your cover a little bit while you were.
Well, and I also, unfortunately, I don't have one handy, but I do also have alternative covers too. They're like Polish inspired. And so whoever wins can have their option of the man version or the Polish version. Yeah, I don't have one handy to grab though, but I will connect with whoever wins to ask them what they want.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have not done many alternative covers by myself. Do you have them for all the books in your series, or just
well for all the books in this series, but not for all of my series?
Got it.
Yeah, just this one because it's my newest one, and I thought it'd be kind of fun, like to do some because I had the idea to do the Polish vibe because of the Polish families. But other than that, I have no creativity when it comes to coming up with something different. So I went with that because I had that idea. So
I doubt that, Molly. I mean, come on.
Well, now when it comes to cover stuff,
yeah,
because the stuff I like is like what everybody else has, and that's fine. But like, can't copy everybody else,
Right.
So
right. Yep. No, I know when we as authors, it's like, oh, I'm not creative like that. It's like, oh, you've got to be. You're pretty creative, but yeah, the cover thing is a whole different ball game. When you get into trying to keep up on, what everybody likes and what's trending and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So now that we're talking about covers, Deanna did just post a question. Why do authors choose to do different covers of the same book? So I don't know, you want to talk about that for a minute, Molly?
Sure. Yeah. So I think that doing the alternate covers or doing special edition covers is kind of something that's only been around for like a couple of years. I mean, like people, they did it before, but it's been pretty common to do it now. And I think a lot of that is because there are some people who prefer, especially like the younger, the early, like the college age-ish readers right now they like to read the paperbacks. Like my daughter loves to read a paperback, but she's not going to read a paperback with a man on it. She's just not, because she doesn't, even though she likes those kinds of books, she doesn't want everybody to know that she's reading something like that. So they tend to kind of like to have more of a discreet kind of cover. And so I think that, authors are just trying to kind of diversify their covers so that they can be more appealing to a wide range of readers. And I think sometimes too, like when you get people who really, really love a book, they kind of want like a special version. So they're like, oh my gosh, I have this special version on my shelf, or, whatever. I don't know. It's just kind of fun. I am a little old school in that I still prefer the ones with the couples or the guys on the front. And I also kind of think that like, actually, you know what? I don't think I'm going to say what I was going to say because I don't want to offend any other authors. So I will just say that it is, I think, trying to reach a wider audience and diversify a bit so that you can grab more readers. That's probably the biggest reason.
And Jennifer actually had a point too just now. A lot of authors are also trying to rebrand themselves. So, if they're rebranding.
Yep. And Etta, I believe you are traditionally published, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I have been as well, and Dawn too. So yeah, I don't know about you, Molly, if you're background if you had been traditionally published at all either. But yeah, you don't get a whole lot of say when you're traditionally published. I mean, at least I didn't. So I don't know if your experience has been the same, Etta, as far as covers go.
They, like, when I was doing the cover, it was time, I sent them just like pictures of vibes and different covers that I liked, and tell them what I didn't want to see, and then they gave me a couple of choices for different poses. And I was like, oh, I love this one, which pretty much one that I have right now. But there was some things that I did want to change, and but I mean, I feel like a lot of things with publishing are, I don't know. Like for me, it's been pretty easy. Like I'm just like happy to be here. So like anything like they throw at me, I'm like, oh, I love that. Yeah, it's great. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I think, just another, if you're traditionally published, you don't necessarily have a say in whether or not you get alternative covers or discrete covers or, different covers too. But then there are also a bunch of people who are doing special editions right now. And some of those covers are amazing. But every time, I was going to say, every time you create a new cover, unless you are talented and, have that ability to do it yourself, if you're self-publishing or you're an indie author, every time you get a new cover, you have to pay for a new cover too. So yeah, it can get to be quite an investment.
And just touching on your traditionally covered, you don't always have a say. Like I remember Dylann texting or emailing me once saying, "Oh my gosh, look at this cover. I hate it. He has man boobs."
Stop that. No. I did not say I hate it. I did not say I hate it.
You didn't like him because he had man boobs.
No, I just felt like it wasn't, when you're, I think that's part of the challenge is when you are writing, at least this is me, right? I have like these people in my head and I can see them. I mean, I am not artistic at all. So I could never draw them or, get what's in my head out to someone else to, so they could see. And so sometimes when somebody comes back and they have something that is so far off of what you had envisioned, it just really, I don't know, it can throw you.
Yeah. So. That's true.
I think that is what happened in that situation. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so not what I had pictured. It's not what my hero looked like. This just a bunch of different things. And so, yeah. Yes, as Jennifer says, you have the characters in your head and it's sometimes hard to explain. Exactly. So, yeah.
Well, do you have any questions, Dylann?
Let me scroll back through because there were no questions for a while, and then there were some. Patience is asking, how do you develop the concept for your various book covers?
I'm going to try to answer that one.
Sure. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and go first?
So for me, I'm kind of a little bit of the opposite of you, Dylann, in that I think I try to find an image of the hero, because right now I'm, the heroes are on the covers. Try to find an image before or when I'm in the early process of writing the story. So that way, like, for instance, like this isn't exactly what Jinx looks like to me, but it is now because now I had it early enough on. But also I think a key thing too is like I don't usually have like a full concept at all, but working with a designer, working with somebody who does know maybe like the market and kind of knows enough about what your stories are and what your kind of vibe is and things like that is key. Because that like my designer, I can give her very, very little information and she will whip out something that is like, because she knows me so well. So I think it's a lot of the times it's having a really good fit with somebody who is a little bit more creative to kind of come up with that. Yep. Another thing too, does everybody know who Catherine Cowles is? Okay, so she like we were talking about like I was like I total fangirled and like was brave and like emailed her, and it was like, oh, where do you come up with your ideas? And she's like, Pinterest, but I don't look at like your typical Pinterest stuff. She's like, I look at like art. on
Oh.
Pinterest.
Oh.
So it's like everybody has something different.
Mhm.
She said that she finds, like, she'll find a piece of art and she'll be like, I want my cover to look like that. So everybody's a little bit different.
I was gonna ask you if you did Pinterest, because I do Pinterest boards for my characters and my settings, and kind of, do you do that as well?
I used to. I don't do it that much anymore. I usually just use it now when I want to look up like a recipe, or I need to try to find a character, some inspiration, just to kind of, or hair.
Mhm.
That's about it. But I used to. I don't anymore though.
That was the only social media that I allowed my daughter to get. She's very artistic and everything. And she's like, I'm on social media. So I'm like, you can get Pinterest. She loves it though. She actually got her boyfriend to get it too.
It seems pretty safe. Like I haven't really seen anything too scandalous or anything on it. So
Yeah, I love it. It's one of my
All right.
favorites.
And we did have a question pop in from Jennifer. But you know what? I'm sorry. Hold on, Etta. We didn't have you answer that last one. Did you have anything to add to that
Or,
about concepts for your covers?
yeah, just other covers that I like that have caught my eye. Yeah. I mean, I don't really envision characters' faces.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Well, and I think that's fun too, because with the illustrated covers, oftentimes they don't really even have faces, and so I think as a reader, I really like it when I guess if I'm not really excited about if there's a guy picture, a couple on the front or whatever, and they don't match what's in my head. If you have an illustrated cover where it's a little more ambiguous and you don't really know exactly what they look like.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right. I'm sorry. Here, Jennifer had one that came in. Do you keep book Bibles to keep things straight? How about you, Etta? You wrote your debut. Have you written everything down so that as you're working on the next book, you'll remember, who, when their birthdays are, what eye color they have, and all that good stuff?
Easy for me. All my people have brown eyes, but I don't do birthdays, and I don't know. Like I try to keep everything simple because I do forget, and I don't do book Bibles, not yet. But I don't have a big series, so.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Molly?
same. I don't really.
Bible?
Nope, I don't. Typically, I'm the author who is like posting in my reader group saying, "What did we name this person?" Or did I have a character with this name? And usually somebody will find the answer or know the answer immediately, like way faster than I would. And I would find it on my own. No, I don't. I don't usually give them birthdays either, unless it just happens to be that they have a birthday in the story for some special, like a date or something. But other than that, I don't. And I thank goodness for my editor, because she'll be like, okay, wait a minute. They had brown eyes. Now they have green eyes, and they had blue eyes. And what's the color here? Settle on something.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't.
How about you, Dawn? Do you do book Bibles or series Bibles?
No, I don't. I do I do like a really in-depth character outline. And I love my Scrivener because you have that character section,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of already compiled a couple things. So I'll go in there. Okay, blue eyes, green eyes, whatever. And it's kind of in depth, like who's the parents and where do they live and what was his job and how was his childhood, kind of that. Not really a Bible, just like a character outline. And then when I'm questioning myself, I can just go back to my Scrivener book and then look it up.
So if there's anybody who is watching or listening that doesn't know what Scrivener is, can you tell them real quick?
It's a writing app that I love so much because I can move my chapters around and my scenes. I'm like, no, this doesn't fit. This goes here. This goes here. Yeah, it's a really awesome writing app. I don't know if you guys still use it. Do you guys still use it?
I use it.
Yeah.
Yep.
No? Are you still in Pages or, with Word?
No.
What do you use?
I actually write in vellum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I like to see what it's going to look like
Mm-hmm.
in either the ebook or print.
Mm-hmm.
And then before I edit, I will just export it to a Word document for my editor.
Yep.
And then it's a real pain in the butt to go back in and then have
Right.
to reformat everything. But I don't know why being able to see it, knowing what it will look like when it's
Mhm.
done, works for me. So
That is the first I've heard that, but that's interesting. I love
Mhm.
hearing how people's processes are. What about you, Etta?
I do Microsoft Word.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have Scrivener, but I don't know. Like when I tried to export it, like it just came out super weird, and yeah. So
I feel like there's a learning curve. You can do so much with Scrivener, and I mean, I feel like I maybe tap into like 5% of of what you can do, but yeah, it's very robust, and eventually, maybe someday, we'll figure out exactly how to use all of the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Dawn, I think. Oh,
yeah,
sorry. Go ahead.
probably the same thing. Should we hear from Etta?
Yes, yes, I'm excited to hear from Etta. So we'll put the rest of the questions on hold for now. If you have others, go ahead and pop them in the comments, and we'll get to those when we come back.
yay. Okay, so I'm reading from my debut, The Kiss Countdown, and this book it's about an event planner who teams up with an astronaut to fake date for 3 months before he goes off to the moon to try and get his family off his back. So we're just actually plopping right in the middle of a chapter where we're pretty far into the book, but they're on this cute little date, and yeah, this is my favorite part of the book, so I'm excited to read for y'all. And okay, so they're eating. She's teasing him, and here we are. He takes the teasing in stride and grimaces. Yeah, sorry about that. For what it's worth, it's been easy to open up to you. And spending time out here with my family, with you, it makes me realize it's okay to let someone in, and I need to find some kind of balance between work and life. You deserve to find that balance, I say. Your career and everything you're doing is amazing, but it's only a part of who you are. The whole of you needs to be nourished. We lapse into comfortable silence, staring at each other. My curiosity about his past is almost satiated. Did she wear this engagement ring too? I hold up and wiggle my fingers. No, Vincent says, his voice soft, dangerously soft. Mom never offered it up when I was engaged to her, and I never asked about it. Oh. Way too many fuzzy thoughts and feelings are swarming through me, so I reach for the last sandwich half to avoid his eyes. When Vincent checks his watch, I finally realize the sun has gone down. There's no lamp in the tent, so we've been chatting in the increasingly darkening interior for who knows how long. Is it time to head back now? I ask, trying to hide the disappointment this interlude is over. If we do, you'll miss the best part. Vincent uses a flashlight on his phone to clear the table and place leftovers back in the cooler. Now, I need you to stand up and close your eyes. Why? He massages the bridge of his nose. I know you don't like surprises, but I promise we're not walking into a cave or herd of wild boars. So would you just do it? I huff, but do as I'm asked, even going so far as covering my eyes with both hands since I'm feeling generous. My ears perk at the swish of Vincent's feet against the nylon floor as he gets closer before his hands land on my shoulders. Don't peek, he says in my ear and turns me around. We're coming to the entrance, so duck your head. As soon as we leave the tent's thin barrier, a rush of cold wind blows against my sweater. With the sun gone, it's significantly colder. Vincent keeps walking until we move from grass to stone. Okay, now open, he says. I eagerly drop my hands and look around and around. Did he want to show me the lake? I like how it looks. Nice, if a little lackluster. The crescent moon's reflection looks like something you might be able to swim to and grab hold of, and the wind makes tiny ripples dance along the surface. The lake looks pretty. This is a perfect place to come and meditate, I say. He chuckles. It is, but that's not what I brought you out here to see. Look up. When I do, I see stars. Hundreds, no, thousands of them, littering the sky like a blanket of twinkling fireflies. For the second time that night, I gasp as my heart swells. Vincent, this is beautiful. I've never seen so many stars in my life. Each time I blink, another one seems to appear. How can there be so many? When I was little, I used to think stars were magical, I say, even though you can only see a handful from the city. But right now, it feels like I'm witnessing a miracle. I have no idea how you ever managed to leave this. I've never regretted leaving the country for life in the city, except for moments like this, he says. Nothing compares to the handiwork of the universe. I think of how odd my mom sounded when she told me about seeing stars from the Grand Canyon. While I was happy for her, I didn't fully grasp the magnitude of how she felt. But at this moment, I feel like I'm sharing something special with her, along with Vincent. I reach for his hand as we study the night sky in silence. Tell me something, I say, barely above a whisper, so I don't break the spell we seem to have fallen under. What is it you want to know? Anything, really. Tell me your favorite fact about the universe. Vincent is silent for a moment before shifting on his feet. Generally speaking, the distance between most stars is so inconceivably vast that it's unlikely any two will ever collide. However, there are clumps of stars called globular clusters where that is not the case, like there. He lifts our joined hands, pointing to an area in the sky. Those are part of the Hercules constellation. They're crowded together much more tightly, so the chance of impact is increased. What happens if they crash into each other? Not that I care. I just want to hear him talk. I'm enjoying the timbre of his deep voice and the easy cadence of his words. I sway to the side, seeking his heat, pleased when he lets go of my hand to wrap his arms around my waist and continue speaking. If the stars are going too fast when they collide, it's a big explosion. And in the end, all that's left are star bits. But if they move relatively slowly, they'll merge. His voice drops an octave and goosebumps race down my spine. They'll create something much bigger and brighter than what they were on their own. His words are stirring a deep longing in my soul. More still, he's seducing me. It's a slow and steady seduction that's been building since that night in his kitchen, maybe even before. Did you see that? He asks. See what? Sights and sounds lost their meaning a long time ago. Keep watching. The show's just getting started. I open my mouth to ask what he means, but a light streaks across the sky, gone as quickly as it came. I hold still and wait. Another burning streak appears, then another, until what look like dozens of tiny fireballs begin pelting the atmosphere. How long we stand under the starlit sky watching the meteor shower, I have no idea. It could be several minutes or hours. Vincent's chin rests on top of my head as he speaks. If you haven't already, it's perfectly acceptable to make your wish now. Even at his sweetest, he can't resist being a smartass. Still, I close my eyes, trying to form the desires of my heart into concrete words. I want my business to flourish, but I also want to always feel how I do in this very moment. Content, cherished, happy, like I'm right where I need to be, with who I'm meant to be with. When I open my eyes, I turn around in Vincent's arms. Thank you for bringing me here. He reaches a hand to cut my cheek, tracing the arch of my eyebrow with his thumb. Yearning shines through his eyes loud and clear. It's a look I've seen there before, but he's always been quick to eclipse it with a smirk or smart remark. This time, however, he doesn't veil his desire. In turn, I study his face. I like how the light from the stars illuminates his dark skin. It scares me how with each passing day, I discover something new I like about him. With each passing hour, his gravity pulls me deeper and deeper into his orbit, and I don't know if I'll be able to escape, even if I want to. And right now, I don't want to. My gaze focuses on his gorgeous lips. We've kissed. Twice now. Once at the New Year's Eve party, then at the birthday dinner. But those times were for show. No one is around now but us. Glancing back up, I see Vincent's hooded eyes watching me, like he's waiting for me to make the first move. My heart hammers in my chest as I stand on my tiptoes and slide my arms around the back of his neck, bringing his face down to mine. Once our lips meet, time stops. Gravity is gone. We're standing in the center of the universe and everything is spinning around us. I knew my imagination hadn't hyped up how good our first kiss was. But this right here, this is everything. The softness of his lips as they move against mine, The taste of him as I sweep my tongue over his bottom lip. He tastes heavenly, like all the stars and galaxies I never knew existed. We're in a fight to get closer to each other as his fingers tighten around my waist and I push my body harder into him. In what feels like too short a time, my recovering ankle gives out. I lose my balance, but Vincent is quick to steady me. He's always quick to steady me. He holds me tightly, with my head pressed against his muscled chest, and we both grasp for air. I need to get you back to the cabin, Vincent says, and I shake my head. I don't want to go. I want to stay in his arms and feel his mouth on mine again. I want it more than I want my next breath. Vincent unhooks my hands from around his neck and brings them to his mouth, blowing warm air into my skin. You're turning into ice out here. It's only then that I realize how cold it is. A shiver races through me as the wind picks up and Vincent leads me back to the truck. He helps me in, then turns the engine on and sets the heat to full blast. Okay, and that's it.
Very romantic.
Yay.
We were all just sitting here. I just felt like the whole, I don't know. I mean, I'm here by myself, but I was like, it's just like quiet. And I'm just listening to this moment build and build and build. I'm like, I don't know. Yes. Very enjoyable. Thank you for sharing your work with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I've got questions. I mean, I know we have a couple questions over here, but oh my gosh. I mean, are you like a space scientist? I mean, how do you know all this stuff about stars? Did you have to do a bunch of research?
I did have to do some research. Not a scientist at all, which is why the book
a
is
better
from
term than space scientist. I don't know. Astronomist.
Yeah, astronomer. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I love stars and I'm obsessed with them probably because I don't have a lot to look at here in the big city. So I mean, like, and I have actually tried like a couple times to drive out of the city to look at stars, but each time I do, like, there's always clouds or storms. Like, so I don't know what it is. But yeah, I just love space.
Awesome.
All right. Did you have any questions, Dawn?
No, but I mean, you're in Texas, and I remember when we were there, there was like one channel, and it was just the astronauts. Do you get that one? It was just like you watching them. Life.
We only have, we don't do, like, we only do cable like during football season.
Yeah.
So, but like every now and then, like I'll log on to NASA, just log on to NASA. Or on YouTube, they usually do have a live stream of the International Space Station. So like I'll look at that every now and then. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love the oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
I love the details. I'm sorry, Dawn. I'm going to say it. I love the details of the stars and, how they're, of course, love that. Love that if they move too fast and otherwise they merge. And I mean, that was just beautiful, beautiful symbolism. All right, Go ahead, Dawn. I'm done.
It was not as good as yours. So I was just going to say my child, when we were there, he went swimming and he had little floaties on. And then all of a sudden he's like, I'm an astronaut. And we didn't even know he knew that word because he was like a toddler. And ever since then, he was like obsessed with astronauts until he started being obsessed with dinosaurs. But that's why we watch the space station every day.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, you know what though? It's awesome. There's so many things that are accessible. I watched that corpse flower. I'm in Minnesota. There was a corpse flower. I don't know if you guys know about this. They only bloom like every 7 to 10 years or whatever. And there's one here locally that, I was watching it on YouTube for many days, the live stream in a row. And then finally, it kind of didn't even really bloom. It was very anticlimactic, but I love YouTube because, you just know what you're going to be able to watch. All right, but enough about me. We have questions. Yes. Jen wants to know, what is your favorite trope and favorite trope? I guess I'm assuming favorite trope to write and favorite trope to read. So Etta, why don't you answer first?
To write, I love forced proximity. So the more page time that the couples have together, I just love that. And favorite to read, so I write contemporary, but I love to read like fantasy and paranormal. So I just love soulmates, any kind of soulmates, fated mates, angels, shifters. I love them all.
Love it.
How about you, Molly?
I think my favorite trope, kind of to write and to read, is anything with like a forbidden vibe. Two people who, primarily romance, two people who just aren't meant to be together, or well, they're meant to be together. Of course, they're meant to be together, but they're not supposed to be together. Love that vibe. But I also love reading paranormal too. Anything. Demons, oh gosh, they're like my favorite. But yeah, probably. Yeah.
This is probably I don't know. Are you both married or have a significant other? Yes,
I am.
If your romance was a trope, what would it be?
Oh, that's an interesting question, Dawn. You've never asked that before.
Yeah.
Small town. Friends to lovers, kind of. He's my husband's blue collar to the core. Accidental pregnancy.
You're just layering them on there, Molly. Keep going.
There's a lot. But yeah, nothing super exciting. Like just kind of like the run of the mill stuff, I guess.
Those are some of my favorites. Yeah, not run of the mill.
Okay. Opposites attract. Slow burn-ish. I don't know. So like not insta love, but insta
Lust.
Yes.
I was going to say insta connection, Dawn. You just went for
it. Small age gap, like 5 years, 5.5 years, which, the older we get, like, just really doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know.
What about
strangers? You? Yes, strangers to friends to lovers. There we go.
What about you, Dylan?
I don't know. Is it like a botched fix-up? Like my friend wanted to introduce me to someone who didn't show, and then I met my husband that night instead. So what trope would that be?
I don't know, but you should write that.
Well, I lived it, Dawn. I don't have to.
You should write it.
I think that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what trope that would be. We met at a party and we were both in costumes. So masquerade? I don't know.
Yeah.
How about you? You had a workplace romance.
Yeah, workplace, military, forbidden romance for sure. We weren't supposed to be dating. And alpha male. So military guy.
All right, we have a couple more questions I want to get to. That was a fun question. I think you should ask that one again.
Okay, that's right.
All right, Deanna wants to know what inspired you to write your first book and get published. And let's have Etta answer this one first again.
So what inspired me was actually the scene that I read. Like, I don't know, like I would just daydream and I just kept on imagining two people kissing under the stars. And so I just pretty much decided to write a book around that, like how did they get there? And what happens after that? What happened before that? So it's just pretty much that scene that inspired the whole book. And then to get published, I knew that self-publishing probably would not work for me because I like to see results right away. And I know that self-publishing is very hard. And so, yeah, I was like, well, let me pursue traditional publishing. And yeah.
How about you, Molly?
I don't know. I mean, like my first book, I can't say for sure, but what inspired me to start writing, I've written since I was like in junior high. And I think that my love of writing kind of started because I was like a lovesick teenager like the whole unrequited love thing. Like I had like all these crushes on different people and like they never felt the same way. So I'm like, well, I'm going to write about it instead. Kind of dorky, but that's kind of why I started writing romance, and I just kind of just kept doing it, kept plugging along. I mean, I've only been I've been published in 2014, so 10 years, but I mean, I probably wrote for like a good long 15 years before that.
Yeah.
All right. And just so you know, Adaptation says camping is the best way to see the stars.
Yeah.
It sounds like you need to go on some romantic camping weekends.
A couple of years ago, I went camping to Gardner State Park, which is, one of the big parks here in Texas. And like, I went with the troop for my girls, and they had planned to, they bought like telescopes, so I'm like, oh yes, finally. And when we went, it was like the coldest night of the season, and it was a big storm and ice, and yeah, so I still didn't get to see the stars.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, maybe sometime this summer.
Yeah.
It can't be cloudy and overcast all summer long. So I think that's it, Dawn. Did you have any other questions?
No, I was actually going to say, well, that being said, I'm actually on my way to camping right after.
That's right. I know. Dawn has such dedication to our show. She stuck around. She sent her family ahead and stuck around to do Romance Happy Hour tonight. And now you're going to head out and meet up with them, right?
I am. Yep. In the mountains. We're actually camping by a lake this time. So we brought our paddleboard. Yeah.
Well, you'll have to report back next time and let us know if you saw a million stars.
It's called the Big Sky State. So I think I'm gonna.
I'm jealous. So jealous.
Pictures.
That's right.
Pictures or it didn't happen, Dawn.
Okay. Good to know. Well, ladies, one more time, what are you giving away? And what do they have to do to enter? And for those of you who don't know, just pop over to Romance Happy Hour Facebook page and you can enter to win their giveaways. Molly, why don't we go with you?
I'm not going to give away this copy because I bent it a little bit, but a copy of Measure of the Man, either the version with the model or the Polish-inspired version. Whoever wins, we'll discuss that. And I don't care if they do anything at all. I mean, if they want to follow me on Amazon, that would be awesome. But honestly, like, I'm not picky. I just love giving stuff away. So.
We're giving away a copy of the Kiss Countdown. If you sign up for my newsletter through Substack, you have a chance.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you very much for coming to the show today, both our authors and our viewers / readers. I don't never know what to call them. Are they viewers? Are they readers? They're both readers. Anyways, we will see you in the fourth Thursday.
Thursday, right? Yep.
This month.
We've been doing this 4 years now, Dawn, and Dawn still gets confused over when our next show is. Second and fourth Thursday of every month. We're here.
Yeah, I'm more confused on what month it is and where I'm at.
I know, right?
All right. Well, we'll see you later, and thanks again.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks
you
for joining us. Bye.